Before I go into today's episode, just want to spend a minute talking about my Substack newsletter. If you haven't heard about it already, it's called Soul Wisdom. I started it about 2 months ago now, beginning of February. And every other Sunday, I bring you a long form piece of writing, spiritual wisdom, insights, personal stories, resources that have helped me along my healing journey to not only find myself, but recreate myself, embrace my story, and begin to put the pieces of the puzzle of my life together and all of the things that have helped me along the way. Some of the things that I've shared so far, if you haven't read it already, is You Are It. And I explored what our true nature is. I am beyond the human body. I've talked about endings and beginnings and embracing change and grief. I've talked about how the past is within us. The past is inside of us and continues to affect us until we fully embrace it and examine it. And for the first few months, it was free, but starting in April, there is a subscription part to it as well. So it'll be $70 a year. So you get two months free, or you can pay $7 a month. And I share two long form pieces of writing a month straight to your inbox, or, well, not or, and you'll get a chance to comment on all of those pieces, interact with me on the Substack chat function, and engage in a Q&A session with me as well every month. So I felt like the time was right to do that because I've been sharing so much of my writing for free on Instagram, and it just felt like I wanted to create the space to write something a bit deeper, longer form, almost like mini essays for you to have something to reflect on over a cup of tea and coffee. Um, and if you choose not to opt in, then that's cool too. I'll still be sharing something with you for free every month, one piece of writing a month. So I'd love for you to sign up and check it out either way. The link is in the description. And I'd love to hear what you think. So today's episode is about healing, the layers of healing, because this is something that's come up in my life recently. And, I thought I dealt with something that happened to me a long, long time ago, but then a deeper layer of that came up. And it surprised me because I thought, wow, I thought I dealt with this already. I've examined it, I've looked at it, I've sat with it, I've embraced it. But I realized that healing comes in layers, and only when we are ready, our spirit is ready to be healed on that new layer, at that level, on that depth, do we get faced with a situation that gives us the opportunity to examine it even further, to sit with it even further, to love ourselves even further, to be curious about it even further. Because healing is a journey. There are highs and lows, ups and downs, days where you think you've overcome something and you've overcome so much, but then something else happens and you think, oh, I feel like I'm right back at the beginning, but you're not really. You're not really, because who you are when it first happened and when you first examined it and who you are today, two different people. The person that you are now, working on the same situation, having to address the same situation, is different to the person that addressed it before. And so naturally, you're going to be approaching it in a different way. The fact that it's coming up again shows that you're further along in your journey because you were ready to heal it on a deeper level, that situation came up again in a different form or in the same form. And think of it this way. We have all of our past inside of us, in that we have day one, whatever happens to us in day one of our life goes into day two. And then day three is made up of what happens to us in day one and two. And day four is made up of what happens to us in day 1, 2, and 3. And so wherever you are, wherever you're going, you're a walking story. You're a walking story full of emotions, full of highs and lows and twists and turns that have happened to you. And it's okay if you're not fully healed right now, or you don't feel fully healed right now, because you're in a better position than when you started. And it doesn't have to be fully healed in one go. The fact that you're listening to this, the fact that you're even interested in this stuff, the fact that you're even having a thought about healing is progress. How far you've come and how much you've done or haven't done will be a story that you've created based on comparing yourself to someone else. So when you let go of that, you realize that you're just a human being, a bundle of emotions. You're a bundle of emotions, a bundle of experiences, neatly tied together by skin and bones. So I don't have a punchy message to give you in this one. There is no punchy message. It's just to remind you that you're human and there's layers to healing. This whole thing is a journey. Everything that's happened to you makes you who you are right now. Like I said, you're a walking story. So just have compassion for yourself as you move through things, as you try to figure out what's next and how to be with everything that's happened, how to continue to be. And the fact that you're alive and listening to this, watching this, or listening to this is testament to your inner strength. It's testament to the hope and the faith that you have that things can only get better. Your life could have ended on any one of the days leading up to the day that you're listening to this, but it hasn't. And you've chosen for it to not be either. So I wish you well. I love you. Things can only get better from here. Have compassion for yourself. One love.